First contact and deception. For nearly 2 centuries, humanity had been the cosmic equivalent of a quaint village cousin, tolerated at galactic gatherings, but never taken seriously. The Varaxian Empire, spanning 37 star systems with their biomechanical technology, had welcomed Earth into the galactic concord with patronizing smiles and carefully measured technology exchanges. Humans were classified as a Type C developing species, granted limited access to interstellar travel but restricted from military-grade technology and premium resource-rich systems. Earth's official representatives smiled politely at diplomatic functions, accepted the scraps of technology offered, and never complained when human colony requests were denied in favor of more established species. The Concord's diplomatic assessments described humans as enthusiastic but technically primitive, their military capabilities sufficient only for local system defense, and their resource management inefficient and wasteful. These reports appeared in every strategic analysis for nearly 200 years. It was perhaps the most catastrophic intelligence failure in galactic history. On the remote outpost of Nuterra, Dr. Elise Sharma watched through hardened observation windows as Varaxian warships systematically reduced the research colony to molten slag. 3,000 colonists, scientists, engineers, families, all because humanity had developed a more efficient quantum communication system that threatened the Varaxian monopoly on galactic communications. This regrettable action is necessary for the stability of the Concorde, the Varaxian commander had announced before the bombardment began. Technological development must proceed according to established protocols. Your species will adapt, as all species must. Dr. Sharma's final transmission reached Earth 14 hours later. The World Union Security Council convened within minutes. There was no debate, no lengthy discussion. There was only a single unanimous vote and a simple command transmitted to a facility buried beneath the Arctic ice. Deploy the Defiance. Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the Earth warship Defiance, watching the stars streak by as the massive vessel traveled through fold space. Unlike the ornate, tentacled designs of Varaxian ships that mimicked their creators' biology, the Defiance was angular and purposeful, a blade forged in darkness. For 2 centuries, humanity had shown the galaxy only what it wanted them to see, presenting a carefully constructed facade of struggling technological development, while Earth's hidden research facilities created weapons that would make the Varaxian Empire's most fearsome warships seem like children's toys. ETA to Varaxian Prime? Chen asked, her voice steady despite carrying the weight of humanity's first true interstellar military action. 3 minutes, Captain, her XO Commander Alvarez replied. Their defense grid remains dormant. They can't detect us through the quantum field. Chen nodded. They're not looking for us. Why would they? We're just humans. For 2 centuries, Earth had hidden behind a mask of technological inferiority while developing propulsion systems, weapons platforms, and defensive capabilities that violated several of the Concorde's technology restriction treaties. The Defiance wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's statement to the galaxy, written in steel and advanced composites. Dropping out of fold space in 3, 2, 1, the helmsman's fingers danced across her console. Reality rippled, and the Defiance emerged directly above Varaxian Prime, the gleaming heart of their empire and seat of their overseer council. For exactly 23 seconds, nothing happened. The Varaxians simply stared upward as their sensors finally registered the massive human vessel that had appeared impossibly within their innermost defense perimeter. Then panic erupted. We're being hailed, Captain, communications reported. Multiple channels. They're demanding identification and immediate withdrawal. Chen straightened her uniform jacket. On screen, the main view screen flickered to life, displaying the segmented face of High Overseer Zex, supreme leader of the Varaxian Empire. His 4 compound eyes widened at the sight of a human in command of the mysterious vessel. What is the meaning of this intrusion? Zex demanded, mandibles clicking with agitation. Your presence violates 13 separate articles of the Concord Treaty. Withdraw immediately or— 14 hours ago, Chen interrupted, her voice level. Your forces destroyed the human colony at New Terra. 3,000 civilians dead on your orders. Zex's posture shifted to one of dismissal, an unfortunate necessity. The colony was developing restricted technologies. Appropriate warnings were issued. I understand, Chen said, nodding. Force was necessary. Message received. Something in Chen's tone made Zex hesitate. If your government wishes to discuss reparations or new settlement opportunities, there are established diplomatic. Weapons officer, Chen said, still looking directly at Zex. Target the Voraxian Third Fleet, stationed at Lagrange Point 4. Target acquired, Captain, came the immediate response. Zex laughed, a chittering sound of genuine amusement. Human, your single vessel cannot possibly threaten an entire fleet. Our shields. Fire. The Defiance didn't shudder. There was no recoil, no dramatic light show from its weapons arrays. There was only a brief distortion in space surrounding the ship, a ripple-like heat rising from summer pavement. 142 Voraxian warships simply collapsed, their hulls compressed as though crushed by an invisible fist, shields and armor alike crumpling inward before the wrecks erupted into synchronized balls of plasma. The silence on the bridge stretched for an eternity. What? Zex finally whispered, his carapace paling. What have you done? Gravitic compression, Chen explained conversationally. We discovered it about 70 years ago, but we thought it might be impolite to mention it. You know how it is with primitive species. We might misunderstand proper galactic etiquette. Zex's mandibles worked soundlessly. Next target, Chen continued, the planetary defense grid. Specifically, the command nexus in the capital city. Wait, Zex shrieked. This is madness. You cannot. Actually, Chen interrupted, we can. That's rather the point of this demonstration. On the view screen, Zex was frantically consulting with officials off-camera, his composure completely shattered. When he returned his attention to Chen, his voice had risen nearly an octave. The Empire formally requests an immediate cessation of hostilities. We acknowledge a grave diplomatic error has occurred and propose emergency consultations. Chen studied the alien leader for a long moment. Throughout the bridge, the Defiance crew worked in silent efficiency, weapon systems primed for the next target. There will be no negotiations, Chen finally said. There will be only understanding. Humanity has tolerated the Empire's arrogance because it served our purposes. That tolerance has ended. What do you want? Zex whispered. An acknowledgement of reality, Chen replied. The reality is this. Humanity has weapons that can reduce your worlds to ash, ships that can bypass your most sophisticated defenses, and the will to use both if provoked. The Voraxian Empire will immediately withdraw from all human-claimed systems. You will pay reparations for New Terra, and you will understand that the next time you move against humanity, there will be no warnings, no demonstrations, and no mercy. Chen leaned forward slightly. Do you understand reality now, High Overseer? Zex's exoskeleton shimmered with stress-induced color changes. Yes, he managed. The Empire understands. Excellent, Chen said, nodding once. We'll transmit the details of our expectations within the hour. I suggest you prepare your government to meet them. The transmission ended, leaving the view screen filled with the image of Voraxian Prime and its suddenly vulnerable civilization. Send word to Earth, Chen ordered. Phase 1 complete. The message has been delivered. Throughout the galaxy, news of what happened above Voraxian Prime spread like wildfire. Species that had dismissed humanity as insignificant suddenly found themselves reviewing centuries of intelligence reports, searching desperately for what they had missed. Trade agreements were hastily revised, military strategies were frantically recalculated, and in the darkness between stars, other human ships emerged from hiding, their true capabilities finally revealed to the final stand. The Galactic Concord chamber had never been this crowded. Representatives from 23 spacefaring civilizations packed the tiered seating, their voices creating a cacophony that no translator could fully interpret. But the sentiment was universal: fear. In the center of the chamber, a holographic display showed the destruction of the Varaxian Third Fleet playing on a continuous loop. 142 warships gone in an instant. Elder Shrill of the Centauri Collective, whose crystalline body structure caught and refracted the light from the hologram, raised her appendages for silence. As the Concorde's current chair, she had called this emergency session. "The situation is unprecedented," she began, her voice translated into the Concorde's common language. "In a single act, humanity has demonstrated military capabilities far beyond anything in our collective records. They deceived us all," shouted the Varaxian representative, his carapace still showing stress patterns. "A galaxy that had gravely, perhaps fatally, underestimated them." "Did they?" countered the Andonian ambassador, whose species had always maintained cordial relations with humans. "Or did we deceive ourselves, comfortable in our assumptions of superiority?" The chamber erupted again until Elder Shrill signaled for quiet. "The human ambassador will address the Concorde shortly. Before that moment, we must decide how to respond as a unified body." "Surrender," suggested the Krell delegate bluntly, his armored exoskeleton clattering as he shifted. "If they can destroy the Varaxian fleet so easily, what chance do any of us have?" "We don't know the extent of their capabilities," argued the Malosian representative. "One ship, however powerful, does not constitute an insurmountable threat." "One ship we know of," corrected another delegate. The chamber doors opened, and Ambassador Sarah Okafor of Earth entered. Unlike the elaborate ceremonial garb worn by most representatives, she wore a simple blue uniform. The chamber fell silent as she approached the central platform. "Distinguished representatives of the Concorde," she began, her voice calm and measured. "For 2 centuries, humanity has observed your deliberations from the periphery. We have watched as you carved up the galaxy amongst yourselves, relegating Earth to the status of a curious backwater. We have witnessed how the strong dictate to the weak, all while speaking of peace and cooperation." She gestured toward the hologram, still displaying the destruction of the Varaxian fleet. "What you witnessed was not an act of aggression, but a response to unprovoked attack, and a demonstration of what we are capable of if threatened again." "Is this a declaration of war against the Concorde?" Elder Shrill asked. "No," Okafor replied firmly. "It is an application for equal membership. Humanity will no longer accept second-class status. We will take our place as equals, or we will make our own way." The implications hung in the air like a blade. As the Concorde deliberated, Captain Chen received new orders. The Varaxians had called upon their ancient allies, the Drool hegemony, who had dispatched their primary battle fleet toward Earth. The defiance was to intercept them before they could reach the Sol system. "They're testing us," Alvarez observed as they reviewed the intelligence. "They want to know if we have more than one ship with these capabilities." Chen nodded, "And we'll show them exactly what they want to see." The Defiance arrived at the edge of the Ta-Ceti system, directly in the path of the approaching Drool fleet. 86 warships, each bristling with disruptor cannons capable of cracking small moons. "They're hailing us, Captain," communications reported. The face that appeared on the view screen belonged to War Leader Korth of the Drool, his gray, leathery skin creased with age, and his 6 eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Human vessel," he rumbled, "the hegemony has no quarrel with Earth. But the stability of the galaxy requires that certain technologies remain restricted. Power such as you wield cannot be left unchecked." "And who decides what power is acceptable?" Chen asked. "The same council that has kept humanity contained for centuries." "The weak are protected by such restrictions," Korth replied. "Without them, the galaxy would descend into chaos." "The weak are exploited by such restrictions," Chen countered. "They ensure that the powerful remain so." "We didn't ask for this conflict, War Leader. We merely revealed what we had kept hidden." And now you must be contained, Korth stated flatly. Surrender your vessel and its technological secrets, or we will be forced to take more direct action. Chen felt a cold anger rise within her. The last species who threatened humanity lost their fleet. Are you certain you wish to follow their example? Korth's expression didn't change. We are prepared. The transmission cut off, and Chen turned to her tactical officer. Analysis. They've spread out in a sphere formation, Captain. Multiple targeting systems locked on us. They've also deployed some kind of interference field, likely trying to disrupt our gravitic weapons. Chen nodded. They've studied the Voraxian encounter. Clever. She thought for a moment. Helm, bring us to within 10,000 kilometers of their flagship. Weapons, prepare the phase disruptors. Captain, Alvarez cautioned, the phase system hasn't been field tested against this many targets. Then today will be educational for everyone, Chen replied. The Defiance accelerated toward the center of the Drool formation. Immediately, energy beams and plasma torpedoes converged on their position, but the ship's quantum shield absorbed the barrage without strain. In position, Captain, the helm officer reported. Weapons status. Phase disruptors charged. Field calibrated. Chen took a deep breath. Fire. Unlike the gravitic compression weapon, the phase disruptor created a visible effect, a pulse of blue-white energy that expanded outward in a perfect sphere. As it touched each Drool ship, their shields simply winked out of existence, followed moments later by their propulsion systems. 86 warships, suddenly powerless, drifting in space. Signal to the Drool flagship, Chen ordered. Audio only. When the channel opened, she spoke calmly. War Leader Korth, your fleet is disabled. Your shields and engines will remain offline for approximately 12 hours. That should give you sufficient time to reconsider your position. The Defiance will escort you back to Drool space. Any further acts of aggression will result in more permanent consequences. There was a long pause before Korth's reply came, his voice subdued. We acknowledge your terms, Captain Chen. As the Defiance positioned itself behind the drifting Drool fleet, ready to shepherd them home once their engines reactivated, Chen received a priority communication from Earth. The holographic image of Admiral Santos, commander of Earth's hidden fleet, appeared in her ready room. Captain, the Concord has reconvened. They've proposed a new charter, one that recognizes Earth as a full member with all associated rights. They're adapting quickly, Chen observed. Fear is a powerful motivator, Santos replied with a slight smile. But it's more than that. Several middle-tier species have approached us privately. They see humanity as a potential counterbalance to the Voraxians and the Drool. They're offering alliances. And what has the Council decided? That's why I'm contacting you. President Okoye wants your assessment. Do we accept the Concord?